Okay, hey guys. Victor, just talk about this so I can make sure your level's about where I expect them to be.
This is Victor testing the audio levels of my voice and my microphone that I have not used in like 3 years.
Okay, that's about where I expect it to be. Let me just lower that a bit. Try one more time.
This is Victor saying hello to Mark from With the Will, which is a song from a not great season of a cartoon show. It's also a website that is named after that song. Um,
Okay, that's
there's
good.
there's kids in it. Okay.
Okay. No real testing that needs to be done because not putting this up as an audio show later.
This is a one-time thing. It's going to stay on the
Yeah,
YouTube
I'm
channel, just
I'm gonna
not.
put
Okay.
I'm gonna put that there. So no real
Okay.
issue there.
Okay.
So I'm Mark. I run with the Will, and Victor used to co-host the podcast until he mysteriously vanished. I think he died in Florida. Is
Lord.
that?
Oh God, yeah, that's right. The last thing I did was saying goodbye, guys. I'm going on my honeymoon. I'll be back later, and then I just never came back.
And then the one time I tried to get you for a final episode, you just started ranting about nonsense.
What?
The
What did I
last
rant about?
I said, "So Victor, let's schedule your goodbye episode since you're gone." And then I just got multiple posts you complaining about taxes. And
Um,
and, and even when I tried to get you for the movie special, which not canceled but delayed, I got like no, I got nonsense posts from you, including weird drawings, and
oh
it
my
what
God. So,
and I'm like,
so,
did he just send me a swastika?
so first of all, that was like tax season, and I think oh, it was because uh I got like hit in the ass by taxes, and I had to like choose between paying taxes and going on my honeymoon, and it was kind of like a horrible thing. That was 3 years ago. I forgot about that. These swastikas. I am developing a comic book, and I want it to be a tokusatsu World War II, so kind of Captain
Are
America, but instead of. Are we recording? Are we going? Are we
Yeah,
live?
oh no, we're going. But here's the thing, Victor. There's no
Okay.
context when you just send a Jewish person a swastika with no explanation.
It's not a swastika. It was me. It was an
It
act. First of all,
it looks like a swastika, Victor.
it's supposed to, but it's supposed to be lightning bolts, like Power Rangers lightning and like Shocker from Kamen Rider. I can't find it, but it
And
was.
and at the same time, you were also claiming to not know what Discord was.
So I sent the swastika to you by accident because your icon was similar to the artist I was working with, and you were right next to each other in the Twitter thing. Discord, I see like people advertise it in subreddits. They're like, "Hey, come join the new Discord," and I'm like, "Why?" And no one understands why. And I only ever used it briefly once for a podcast with Tool that didn't go through, and I just forgot about it. And I like it doesn't. I don't cross paths with it a lot, so I don't really
Oh no,
think.
sure, but that's not the conversation as the back and forth as it happened, which is why it was very funny. Where let's see if I scroll down and look at what I actually said here. Scroll down, scroll down. Let's see. When you have the time, mind sending me your Discord. I do not use Discord. I am not even entirely sure what it is.
I'm not, and that was. Listen, I understand. I know it's like better Skype and it targets gamers, but like though like I didn't know I could do it on my browser. Did I have to download something? Like and people talk about servers and stuff, and I just it's the internet's a big place, and I'm not everywhere.
So, why don't you explain? We're doing this because Victor was bored.
Yeah, we were. I was excited to do the movie. I haven't podcasted since my wedding, like at all. Like I've retired. I don't even listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
But I was kind of missing it, and then you were like, "Oh, let's do a reunion, get everybody back, get Jeff back for the movie." And then the movie didn't happen, and I was like, "Let's just do a podcast anyway, because we're all stuck inside and we're bored." And I don't know. I feel like Digimon fans miss my voice.
To be fair, your original suggestion was slightly different, and I believe I just went no.
Oh God, yeah.
Let's
no.
do a 12-hour live stream. And I was just like,
that idea
no. So
yeah,
we're effectively just going to talk.
Yeah, I think when I was on the podcast, we had several episodes that just had an hour of bloopers of us talking about like bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think we enjoyed that more than actual Digimon talk. So I just thought,
I enjoyed the podcast. That's why I'm still here and you're not.
Digimon and me have a complicated relationship.
I mean, you have to remember, Victor, I'm still here.
You're still here, yes.
Yes. So when you said
on my podcast,
I stole your podcast.
A little bit.
That's your own fault, though.
I let it be taken, and I'm okay. I'm okay. I've moved on from podcast landia.
I think you were happiest when we did the Tri-Part 4 episode.
I don't even remember what that was.
We just talked about Tri-Part 4 a lot.
Oh, yeah, that was the one with the licking. So I think we had a lot of material with that.
Yeah. So what would you like to talk about first, Victor?
I don't know, man. I haven't heard from you like directly in like a few years. So
to be fair, we normally did most of our talking right before, or right after the podcast.
Yes.
That was when we spoke to each other. So it sort of just was habit to not speak to each other.
It's one of those things where like, you say you'll be friends with, your high school friends when you graduate from college, but then you only speak to them in high school, so you don't. So
to be fair, we do throw stuff at each other randomly. It's just we do not have the extended talks like we did around the podcast.
It's the occasional, hey, artist, here's a swastika idea, bye, and then no follow-up.
That would have helped with the follow-up. In your case, it was just sending that, and I go, I don't, and then 5 minutes later, I go, I don't know what that is. It looks like a swastika, and then you just never responded to it. So it just makes it makes you look like a kind of wacko in context.
No, I am a kind of wacko, but no, it's a comic idea about like Japanese Captain America. That's the general pitch. And yeah, we're developing a fake Nazi regime with a fake swastika logo, and I was trying to come up with something, and I sent some ideas to the artist, and one accidentally went to you, and then I just forgot to clarify for like 2 months.
Yes.
While the conversation went elsewhere. So
while I'm telling AR, May, and other people about it, trying to figure out what the fuck that means. It's like, so I don't know. Victor's not really responding to questions about the podcast special. He's not giving me his Discord. He's not clarifying Discord. He may have sent me a swastika. I don't. So I think everyone just sort of went, yeah, maybe at this point we should just assume Victor's not showing up since he's not really responding and he's acting weird. You have to clarify, Victor.
So yeah, this is me clarifying. If you ever do a big team up special about the movie, if I'm the only guest, whatever,
I assume it will be you and Jeff.
Cool.
Jeff Ruberg from Poddigis, I assume, will be showing up. Jeff made clear he'd make the time whenever it ended up happening, whatever the form is. So we will see. So you're still reading the bad Power Ranger comics?
Oh my god, they're not bad. They're
not
exhausting.
They're exhausting and they're not very fun to read at some point.
Yeah, so
because here's the thing. One of our last episodes, I think, was the April Fool's Day one where we just talked about Power Rangers and other stuff, and I said, the book needs to slow down at some point. It's exhausting. I kind of don't want to read it anymore. And that was 3 years ago, and it has not slowed down or stopped in any form.
So yeah, one of the things you said was, you pointed out how most comic arcs are like 4 to 6 issues, and the first Power Rangers one was like 17. And technically, the first arc doesn't end for like 30 issues, really. 17 was when they had kind of a nice walking into the sunset to be continued moment, but it kept going.
Yeah.
So you said that, and
But then even after that, they did like one-off episode, and then it was back, and it still all goes back to the first issue.
yeah, it's been an experience, and
sorry, go ahead.
So you put that in my head that it's going nowhere slowly, basically, and I was kind of like, yeah, Mark's, because I read a little bit of it like monthly when it first came out, and I kind of lost interest in like buying monthly comics. But then when Shattered Grid was announced, I read the first whatever was on Hoopla, and reading it all at once is a better experience, I think.
It is. But even Shattered Grid, but even Shattered Grid, they haven't dropped it, as far as I can tell. From
the worst part.
Yeah, from everyone I know who still reads it, right after Shattered Grid, they did Beyond the Grid, which is a follow-up to Shattered Grid, and then Beyond the Grid ends, and they go and do Necessary Evil, which is a follow-up to Shattered Grid, and it just has, my understanding is it has never stopped or let go of a single thing, ever.
Outside of spin-off stuff where they're hanging out with the Justice League or the Ninja Turtles, no, it's been the Shattered Grid stuff from beginning to end.
And am I wrong, or do they introduce Power Rangers way too often?
New original.
Yes, I feel like I'm seeing way too many Power Rangers in stuff.
It's like, yeah, they keep like, I don't know what's going on. I think it's because Lord Draken was very popular, and now they're just trying to throw whatever they can.
It's the Ninja Turtle Rangers.
Oh my god! Like,
oh wait, sorry. I should re-specify to be fair. It's the Ninja Turtle Rangers and April.
I love that.
Like they put in all this effort for the 4 of them, for Shredder's the Green Ranger, and they literally did nothing for April in any form at all. When I saw the design,
are you gonna put Casey Jones in pink? You know,
why not? It would at least. No, here's the thing: the entire fun of that stuff is, as much as I'm tired of seeing new Ranger suits, the entire fun of that stuff is doing weird designs that don't make any sense.
Yeah,
and like seeing Mikey as the Yellow Ranger and trying to make that work with Mikey is where the fun is. April is literally just in a completely normal Pink Ranger suit. No difference, no nothing.
Yeah, it should have been like
they aren't even putting up much art of it because there's no difference.
It should have been like a trench coatified, like how she wears a trench coat sometimes, you know.
Like I think they've done that with like half a dozen Rangers already. When they did the Pink Ranger book.
Yeah.
Didn't Zach's pink suit have a hoodie or something?
Yeah, because every black superhero has to wear a hoodie these days, which I'm kind of done seeing. I get it, and it's a cool idea, and it's great. But
yeah, I would like those comics to slow down and to calm down.
Do you know what's going on with it right now, though? Like how it works?
I've skimmed it. I can't really care anymore because, like I said, at some point, it's not really Power Rangers anymore. Like here's the thing. I enjoy Power Rangers, and it's a dumb thing.
Yes.
Agreed. The comic book takes itself so seriously to the point that it's kind of stopped being fun because it has effectively absorbed the worst aspects of superhero comics and forgotten the stuff that actually makes Power Rangers kind of interesting and unique.
I've been knocking it for feeling a certain way while I'm mostly reviewing and reading indie comics, and then I read some Spider-Man last week, and I'm like, God, this feels like the Power Rangers comics. And yeah, it's Power Rangers is Boom trying to make like a big 2 comic where there's just like so much stuff happens. Like every issue, there's like scenes that last 1 page, and there's just so much happens in 1 page.
Basically. But yeah, it's not a bad book. It's just I just don't care to read it anymore. I don't know.
My big problem with it right now is the way it works is one writer is doing the whole story, both books, because there's two books.
It will be better when Hasbro gives it to IDW in a year or two.
I think that's for sure going to happen.
It's happened with every other Hasbro comic they've ever had. I assume at this point it's at Boom because that's where the contract from Saban was.
Mhm.
And when it's up for renewal, maybe Hasbro will do another few years to finish stuff up while sales are. Although sales aren't even that great on the book anymore, last I looked.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
I think what they've done is they basically burned out the audience.
So yeah, the current arc, the way I'm burned out. Like I stopped reviewing it. I just can't take it anymore. Because how it works is kind of a prequel in the sense that it was about the early days of the Rangers, but now the current Go-Go story is a prequel to the entire arc of the main book, MMPR. And so it's like watching like a TV show like Arrow where there's flashbacks every episode and you're jumping back and forth. And honestly, some of these times when I'm reading these books, I forget which book is which. And I'm like, wait, is Jason the Red Ranger still? Or is it Rocky now? Is Zed around? We haven't seen Rita in a while. Is Rita gone yet? Like, I was so confused. Literally 100% of the time I've been reading it lately.
You know what tie-in comic worked really well while it ran? The Back to the Future one.
How did that go?
That was really good. Like to the point that it basically is right after Back to the Future 3.
Mm.
But
it
starts with an anthology story before it does ongoing stuff, and the ongoing stuff they did weird shit that was interesting. Like one arc literally begins with Marty McFly going, "Am I actually Marty McFly?"
Ooh.
Because think about the end of the first movie. He sees Marty McFly going back in time, and he doesn't remember any of this new stuff. Did he just steal? Did he just steal another Marty McFly's life? Because think about his family. He doesn't know these people. Those aren't his parents.
Mm-hmm.
So it literally has him going a little bit nuts trying to figure it out. The comic kind of hedges on answering because you can't really answer that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, it asks weird stuff and then it eventually moves on and does other stuff. And then
that was IDW too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I recently read Dungeons and Dragons comic from them, which I was afraid of doing because I thought it was going to be like Dark Horse style, taking itself too seriously. But it was like a goddamn comedy. Like I was laughing the whole time at Dungeons and Dragons, you know?
That's why a lot of people liked one of their Transformer books. It was borderline slapstick.
Yeah. So what I think needs to happen, like Boom or IDW, they need to make an all ages book based on whatever the current TV show is. Why isn't there a Beast Morphers comic for kids?
I think everyone's scared of that because the was it Megaforce that they did it with, and it was just no one wanted it. Period.
That was because it was paper cuts, and nobody wants anything they put out. If IDW does it, their all ages stuff is great.
Yeah, but it's a matter of figuring out what to do with that schedule of it's going to change every 2 years. You almost want to do more of a kids anthology where 10 pages a month is dedicated to the current thing.
I mean, they could just do it like 3-issue arcs like the Avengers book.
Well, I generally think they're convinced that kids aren't the audience for the comic. And for the current one, it's definitely not.
No, that's yeah. Like I couldn't recommend that to anybody under the age of like 25. That's how messed up these comics are.
I wouldn't say they're messed up. I'd just say they're not very coherent.
They're good if you're like super hardcore and you're super into them, but like
and you want a lot of nonstop references rather than doing anything.
Yeah, it's a lot of great lore. If you're really into, that one time they called Zordon of Eltar. We gotta make a whole Eltar mythology now, and all like.
And the Psycho Rangers are all based on a Green Ranger from the team before Zyu Ranger.
Oh my god, the Psycho Rangers, that graphic novel.
Yeah, I went ahead and read that, and that existed.
Oh my god, I can't believe they tried to redeem the Psycho Rangers. Like, oh my god, the only person
It
to
exists.
ever murder a Power Ranger gets a redemption arc. Like, come
It
on.
exists. Moving on from that though. What games have you been playing?
So I got really, and I've been reviewing games. Like, people have been sending me games for like the first time ever. So I've been doing a lot of that. My favorite series right now is, are you familiar with the Steam World games?
No.
World games are great. There's four of them. They're from like a Scandinavian developer or some place where the developers all have like names I can't pronounce. Um, but they're about like Steam bots. The first one is SteamWorld Dig, which is kind of a spelunky procedural generated Metroidvania type thing where you just dig and you dig up resources and go to the surface with them and sell them and use that money to buy more upgrades. There is a sequel that I just did the review of. I haven't published it yet, but it is like perfect sequel in every way, shape, or form. Just everything is more expanded. There's more areas. The exploration is bigger and better. There's more bosses. But the real great game in this franchise is the one that appeared in my Steam account one day, and I don't know where it came from or when. I don't remember getting a code or anything. And I was bored in Iowa, so had nothing else to do, so I played this game. It's called Steam World Heist. It takes place in space. It is a steampunk western in space, and you kind of firefly around, do jobs, and get paid and stuff. It's a turn-based shooter, which I had never really heard of as a genre. But it's like platformer 2D, not like XCOM, I guess, is another one. It's really fun to kill robots in that game because the character models are like rigged on like invisible skeletons. So when they die, their parts just fly everywhere. It's so much fun. Music in that game is done by Steam Powered Giraffe, which is a real life band of Steam bots who just have a bunch of songs that fit the tone of that game already. You can see them playing in the background of some scenes. They've
That
become my favorite band because of this game. It's really good.
Yeah, I would say the game to beat right now is probably Doom 64.
That's what you're playing?
I only played it a bit. I'm mostly just excited that there's a proper version of it that people can play again. Because
I don't understand.
it came out on the Nintendo 64 and then it never appeared again.
Oh,
Because
I see.
basically it was a direct sequel to Doom 2,
Okay.
where the graphics were redone, they changed the style up, and that was it. It never was ported anywhere or anything. And the guy who knows the game the most and had been reverse engineering it for years actually did the port,
Mm-hmm.
and they're selling it for $5 and giving it to anyone who pre-ordered Doom Eternal.
Is it on Switch or what?
I basically it's on everything.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically anyone who pre-ordered it gets it for free, and they're selling it for $5 otherwise.
It's more or less the third game in the sequel. It's not a port of the
No,
original
it's
Doom.
not. It's not a port. A lot of people think that's maybe why it didn't do so well when it came out. Was Doom 64 made it sound like a port,
Right.
but it is an entirely different and new game. And I don't know, it's always been a weird, interesting one just because it's sort of the first two Doom games, but with like the ambiance of the third, but years before the third existed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, just neat to get it cheaply and well ported.
That's always good. I've been thinking about like a lot of games like that where the franchises have staying power, but for some reason individual games don't really stick around.
Yeah,
Like, what was it? I
yeah, it
really want
happens.
War of the Lions on the Switch, the Final Fantasy Tactics game. Like, where's that?
Final Fantasy Tactics seems to pop back up every 5, 6, 7 years. It feels like it's about ready for another go.
Right? That and like, you can't play Portal 2 on anything other than, I mean, I have a PC now. I guess I could get it, but like,
The
why
three,
isn't that just like slapped on the PS4? You know,
I'm pretty sure the 360 one works on Xbox One.
that's great for people who have an Xbox One and a 360 copy of Portal 2.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's not worth
Yeah.
their effort to port to the PS4.
Yeah.
In the case of the 360, that kind of thing, they just need to make sure the compatibility works, and then the Xbox One can upgrade the game even just by running it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing
I
your
don't know.
Yes, this is why I made the thread on WtW basically with stacks of free or cheap stuff for people to do, since a lot of people have more time than they're used to.
Gave out free codes, or you just like listed cool free stuff?
A bunch of free stuff, free or discount stuff. Let me put that in the chat here, just so anyone can see it.
I started writing like things to binge watch when you have
Yeah.
this time article, but I threw it away.
Yeah,
There's a million of those already.
I put that in the YouTube chat for anyone who wants some free or easy stuff to deal with. But there's some interesting choices, like the Tomb Raider reboot's free on Steam right now.
Ooh.
They Audible put up a bunch of audiobooks.
Just checked I got a bunch of games from Good Old Games and Itch.io. They're doing free stuff.
Yeah, I put up the GOG link also.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I need to watch Atmon. I haven't done that yet.
Let's see. From the GOG link, I would say the best game there, as far as fun is probably Shadow Warrior.
Did I look at the GOG link? I don't think I think I only got Itch.io games. Hang on.
Yeah, but they put up in their free section a bunch of interesting games. Shadow Warrior is the original one in DOSBox rather than the remaster or the remake. But anyway, if you've played Duke Nukem 3D, Shadow Warrior is basically that. It's the same engine and everything.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it was it's always been a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
So on top of that, some of the other games, there's a number of Humble bundles right now, but two of the more interesting ones for people like anime. All of Fairy Tail and more from Hiro Mishima is on Humble Bundle. So if you need a lot of manga,
Didn't know they did. Oh yeah, I guess I knew that because they do comics. I assume manga.
Yeah. The 18 if you do the because they're multi-tiered. If you do the $18 tier, you get all of Fairy Tail and Rave Master, which are his two big series. I never got into Fairy Tail, but I know a lot of people really love it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other good one is a bunch of Capcom games really cheap. Like
which ones? Oh, here it is.
Yeah, let's see. The $1 tier includes the Strider reboot, the first Mega Man collection, and the
Jesus,
Sorry, what was that?
That's a lot. I'll just say that's a lot of games right there in that one collection.
Yeah, and that's just for $1.
Damn. And these are all Steam keys? Oh, yeah. Damn.
Yeah, and the $20 tier adds a shocking amount of stuff.
Now that I have PC, I need to get into Humble Bundle.
Yeah. But yeah, the $20 tier even adds Mega Man 11 to it.
Wow. That's crazy.
And right now I'm doing my best just not to play a bunch of Street Fighter from the Anniversary Collection, which I had before the Humble Bundle.
Mm-hmm. 10% off your first month. That's cool. The Humble Bundle is great stuff. I need to get into that. Let's see, what else is free? If you're a Hoopla user, I don't know if do you use Hoopla, Mark?
Yeah, we've talked about Hoopla before.
So I get 10 borrows a month typically, and I just got 5 more. I don't know if they gave everyone
we should explain what it is to people. It's it's the library. If you have a library card, chances are they're associated with Hoopla or Overdrive, sometimes multiple companies at once, so you might want to check. Hoopla basically is just a big, huge catalog of stuff. And
it's all digital media that you can borrow if you have a library card.
And based on the contract with your library, it defines how much stuff you can borrow a month. Like, I believe mine is 7.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. They just gave. Now I spent all of mine before this stupid situation started, and I was pissed. But my wife was like, "Hey, we got 5 more." So I have 5 now. So I don't know if they gave everyone 5 or if they gave
Well,
everyone like
see, like
50% or something.
I haven't used anything this month, but I just logged in the background, take a look, and it still says I have 7. So it may be that if people had used it up, they're recharging it a bit or something.
But yeah, Hoopla is great. There's a billion comics. I think comics is probably what they are best at. Just because there's a lot of stuff on there and it almost never goes away. Whereas movies and TV changes a lot. Books and audiobooks kind of flip around a lot, but comics there's thousands of, and most of them stay there forever.
Yeah.
It's like big stuff. Like Marvel DC stuff is there. Boom, IDW, a lot of Image stuff.
You can
Pretty
try
much all Power Rangers.
you can try to binge all of Power Rangers at once before you get sick of it.
If you the best advice, it's like food that has like a bad aftertaste. Just eat it all quick, so the aftertaste comes at the end. Read as much Power Rangers before you realize how awful it is.
Oh, and we forgot the most important thing. Perfect time for a new Resident Evil game to come out, isn't it?
God, did one just come out?
Oh, a week and a half.
Oh man. Yeah, it's great to like binge on stuff, but at the same time, some things are just like you're not in the mood for.
I expect Disney's doing very well putting Onward up early.
Did they already?
Yeah, $20.
For them.
Yeah, and they've already
Yeah,
said that in 2 weeks it's going to be on Disney Plus. To be
jeez.
fair, a lot of their stuff they were able to push back. Onward, it was too late for, and I don't think there was anything else to do with it.
Yeah.
Because Onward came out right as everything was happening. I think at that point you weren't gonna be able to pull the movie and then get it back up later this year. Onward just was dead.
Mhm. Yeah,
But I expect for $20 they're probably doing very well with it.
probably.
In fact, I think that may be cheaper than they sell some of their stuff for, anyways. Because I think their 4K stuff they charge like $25 for.
That's way better than like a movie deal because you could, hopefully you don't have 20 people in your living room right now, but if you did, that's
Yeah,
$1 a person,
yeah, yeah. I'll
So,
probably watch that like Monday.
why don't they just put stupid New Humans on Hulu or whatever? Like, I heard they delayed that. Like, what's going on with that stupid movie?
New Mutants was Fox having issues trying to figure it out. My understanding is Disney looked at the original cut and went, "This is great. We'll put it on the schedule. Finally get it out." Without any of the reshoots the director didn't want to do in the first place or anything. And at some point it feels like they should just kind of give up on that movie.
Like seriously, like there's like 10% of the world cares about that movie, and it's become more of like a joke that it's just never going to come out, even though it's
Well,
like been sitting ready.
I think in the case of it being Disney now, it's free money because it's not like they bought Fox to get that movie, so it's just a bonus thing that if they release and it can claw its way to 100 million, that's 100 million basically free.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. And maybe they're trying to work it into their new X-Men MCU
I
plans.
I don't think it has a single thing to do with it.
And I hope it doesn't. I hope there's never an MCU movie ever again. But if we're gonna do it, it'd be hilarious to try to shove it in there somehow with
I
New
still like
Mutants.
there was a quote from the director earlier, and the funny was it's like, can't do worse than Dark Phoenix.
He said that?
One sec, let me find the exact quote. But yes, he said he said something. Okay, wait, here we go. One sec, I'm pulling it up. Let's see. As Boone tells Empire, Dark Phoenix was one of the worst reviewed movies of last year, so look, you can only go up after Dark Phoenix. That's not to say anything bad about the people involved, but it was what it was. Honestly, I feel less pressure now than I did ahead of the original release date because we've tested our movie so many times and audiences have loved it. But yeah, Dark Phoenix like utterly tanked. You do know what the best part about Dark Phoenix was, don't you?
You know what? I haven't even seen it,
No,
so
I haven't either. The writer and director of Dark Phoenix
Hmm?
wrote X-Men: The Last Stand.
Oh
They let him remake his own terrible movie.
no.
So think about that. Someone wrote the X-Men movie that screwed everything up in the first place. We're not only going to let him write the new one, he's going to direct it as his first movie.
Oh man, that's
I would say Icarus flew too close to the sun, but it feels more like Icarus never took off.
and I loved that prequel series so much. And I was so excited because this was going to be the one that took place in the 90s. And I was hoping for some kind of like Saban Fox Kidsy vibes, but instead it looks like, original X-Men trilogy garbage again.
I think I feel like, what was it? The first trailer actually looked good. And then every single bit of footage past that, I was like, this is not looking like a watchable film.
I liked the costumes, the kind of Grant Morrison look.
I saw
That was
them
nice.
I saw them a bit, but I really didn't pay enough attention once I realized it was going to be terrible.
It'll never be as good as the last 10 seconds of Apocalypse were. It's peak X-Men right there.
Go read the weird John Hickman books.
Is that I have a stack of something. I forget.
See, John Hickman's the guy who, anytime he's done a Marvel book, he's completely reinvented it, made it 100 times better, and like really gone nuts. And they're like, well, because of Disney, we own the X-Men again. John, would you like to come back to Marvel and make the X-Men the center of the Marvel universe again? And John Hickman said yes. And then the first issue gave everyone a contact high.
Yeah, this is the junk that's going on right now, right? Like it's weird, and there's like
it is the best kind of weird. I've been reading it slow because it is really good and really insane.
That's cool. Is it on Comixology Unlimited? Because they just
I think it is. At one point, they were putting up like the big collection of it around Christmas for like $8 or something.
Goes back to free things people can do.
I believe they extended their
Yeah, the free trial is 60 days right now.
Yeah, they extended it for people. Let me see.
I'm seeing some stuff. It's hard to tell. X-Men 2019.
Here we go. Let's see.
I don't see anything unlimited.
The main book is not unlimited right now.
This is like, this guy did like the House of X and House of Adam and all that stuff too, right?
House of X and Powers of X was the setup for it last year.
Okay.
You're probably thinking of House of M, and no, he did not do that.
I know House of M.
House of M's what broke the X-Men, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, this new one is... Hickman does weird, like, I still think his Fantastic Four run was one of the best ones possible.
Yeah. What has he done that I might have read? Because he's like a name that people throw around, like everyone should know it, but...
Yeah, Hickman's the one who...
many.
He always does like these giant stories, and they do always come together, where a lot of times you kind of expect stuff not to.
Right. Let's see. A bunch of stuff. East of West I've heard of. Secret Warriors. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four stuff's so good.
He the guy who killed Human Torch?
I'm trying to remember. I remember it happening. Yes, he was. He was the one who made the Future Found it. He killed Torch and brought him back.
Okay.
Yeah, his Fantastic Four stuff's great.
Cool. What else is free? Why am I tired already?
Yeah, Victor, it's still the afternoon for you.
I know. Well, and I've been like sleeping from like 5 a.m. to noon lately, so I should not be tired at all.
No. Yeah, I think after this I'm going to, I
Hmm.
don't know, go watch MASH or Star Trek or something.
If you guys want some manga, the Shonen Jump app is probably the best deal right now. There's some stuff in Comixology and Hoopla, but
Yeah, the Shonen Jump app is free, and I think it's what 100 chapters a day if you don't
so
pay.
it's if you don't pay, you can stream. Well, I actually don't know how that works. You can download 100 chapters at once,
Well, I
but
don't.
that's
I don't think it.
only
Yeah, and I think there
yeah.
is some limit on older stuff, but it's worth it anyways. And in fact, Jeff is the developer of that app, as I recall.
Friend Jeff makes the Shonen Jump app.
Yes,
But
and has to listen to
it
me anytime I complain about Viz's poor image quality, even though I'm sure it has nothing to do with him. Although I haven't made one of those posts in a while, where I'm literally posting up images from like every manga app.
uh-huh. Yeah, so the first 3 issues of any series are free, and then the latest 3 issues are free. So if you're caught up, you can read new series for free. And they're free, like they launch the exact hour that they are free in Japan.
I think it's earlier
Um,
now.
at midnight in Japan, and most kids are like asleep.
Okay,
Uh,
that's probably what it is then. But yeah, it's
how that works. The back
it's
$2 a
it's
month.
it's effectively how we got Try.
Yeah,
Although
it's basically
although
like
Try
a cycle.
although Try was odd because it's still hard to get people to understand that those were not functionally movies, to the point that people are still upset that Kazuna's not online.
Yeah.
Because Try was online, but me and AR spent so much effort trying to get people to understand that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think at this point they should put Kazuna somewhere, but
I think, well, here's the problem: is it's still in theaters in Japan. It's not on home video in Japan. It's not at the point where they would. And I'm trying to decide if Toei's ambitious enough to do anything, and I don't think they are.
if you do some kind of streaming home release in America, then that version will get pirated to Japan probably.
Yeah. See, here's what I say: do put it on the digital video stores for $20 or $30 as a rental and hard sub it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: like Disney put up Onward to buy, Universal's putting up their stuff to rent for $20, and most people are still going for it because that's not a bad price for a rental.
So I didn't review a single movie on my blog last year, and I tried to like force myself like, oh, I'm gonna do so good with movies this year. And I looked at the list of movies coming out in 2020, and I don't care about a
Yeah.
single one of them
See,
except Kazuna. That's why I'm so upset about this whole
see,
thing. It's
my
the only
my method to make sure that I review movies is I literally just do 2 or 3 tweets about them.
But
Hey,
I don't even want to go see these movies is the thing, you know?
maybe you just have bad taste.
Just maybe Hollywood has bad movies.
Maybe you have bad taste.
A bad taste.
I think there's only one. I think it's reasonable that they make bad movies and you have bad taste. Let's go with that.
Sure. There's plenty of movies that everyone says, "Oh man, this is the greatest film ever," and I'm like, whatever.
Oh no,
But there's also
there aren't. Yeah, a lot of people say, but there are good movies. It's just not a lot of the greatest movies.
and it's not that I think these movies are gonna be bad. I just don't care. You
I
know.
I could just advertise movies I worked on.
Well, that's right. You got a big fancy industry job now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, what are you working on?
Let's see what I can work on that can actually
Like
talk about. The City Hunter movie's coming out on home video soon.
that.
Let's see. See, I'm basically just scrolling through my own Twitter for covers for what to talk about. Because anything that I've posted about, I know I can actually talk about. Oh yeah, did you see the second My Hero Academia movie?
I saw 10 episodes of My Hero Academia, and I thought that was too much for me.
The second
You
movie.
worked on My Hero Academia movie?
No, I just happened to see it and wanted to talk about it. The second movie was not as good as the first one, but it's
Yeah,
not bad.
I don't do that My Hero stuff. I think.
You know what? You know what I will say was much better than it had any right to be. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not saying it's like the greatest movie ever made. Like a lot of
No,
people are like, "Wow, it's surprising how great it is." And I'm like, "It's
I
for
would
what it is. It's surprising how not terrible it was." You know.
I would say it's probably not a good movie, but it's a fun and enjoyable movie.
Like the Lego movie was surprisingly amazing. Sonic was like surprisingly not horrible, you know?
Yeah.
Like everyone expected a train wreck from the first trailer, and it didn't really wreck,
Oh
but it
no,
didn't
even
like
even walking into the theater, I kind of went, I don't know if I'm going to see something great, okay, or oh god, I need to cover my eyes. I really had no idea.
yeah, we were a little late seeing it, so we kind of knew that it was like,
Not terrible.
watchable at that point. So I was kind of like excited. It was kind of like Power Rangers, where I was like dreading it from like the moment it was announced to
So
like a week before, and I was like,
so
I don't
here's
know, see
so
Power
here
Rangers
here's
now.
the weird thing about Power Rangers. I feel like everyone walking out of the theater went, that's a pretty decent movie. It better than had
Mhm.
any right to put. And the more you talk about that movie, the more like the cracks show.
Remember you and we were both like, this
Yeah,
movie looks fucking terrible for like months, and then we both saw it and we were like, wow, it's great.
yeah.
And then we did like half a podcast on it, and by the end of it we were like, oh,
This is
no, it's
terrible.
not, it's
Yeah,
kind of
and
bad.
yeah, it's really strange how that movie does not hold up to any discussion at all. If
Mhm.
you and don't get me wrong, I know there are plenty of people who still like it, but like we both walked out of the movie separately. Like we didn't see it together, but like we both talked about it and we're like, man, that was almost a great movie. Like that was enjoyable. It was fun. And then the like by the end of talking about, it, we're like, man, this movie kind of sucked.
I remember like the one thing you hit me with was, why is Rita the Green Ranger? And I was like, oh, because and I was like, wait, I don't know. And you were like, but like, what's the point? It doesn't add anything to the story. And I'm like, oh my god, you're right. It doesn't affect the story at all that Rita used to be the Green Ranger. It means nothing. And they just did
See,
it because
see,
fans thought it would be cool.
I don't even remember a conversation about it. I just remember like anything we brought up about it
Mm.
just made the movie fall apart. And Toku Joe just pointed out, Krispy Kreme.
Oh my god, Chris, like, yeah, that's a Sonic the Hedgehog level joke. The whole Krispy Kreme thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
wow.
weird because it really was a movie that, with no discussion at all, I like that
Mhm.
movie. The instant I had to talk about it, it literally like crumbled in my hands into dust.
No, yeah, I feel like I saw it. I did a free screening with my brother, and then I took my wife and their little brother to go see it. And I was like all on it, like, yeah, power, no, Katrina, come on, it's great, trust me. And we were like, yeah, no, this is really
Well,
good.
like here's
And
the
like a
well,
week
like here's the problem. No
after, so
one like the film even sets up like, oh, like in the old Power Rangers, there's lessons learned, and you think about it, you're like, none of them actually learn any lessons to the point that they're still screwing up the thing they were upset about at the beginning of the movie. And since Juggernaut and Chat asked, it's not a new job, Juggernaut. It just happens that me and Victor never discussed it, so it's new to him.
how long have you had this job?
A few years now.
You haven't really talked in a few years, so it adds
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not
But
so
yeah,
yeah.
Power Rangers. Like, if I'm with like my old friends from Morphin Legacy at like Power Morphicon in their hotel room and everyone's drunk, I'll watch it. But I'm never gonna watch that movie again, like in any other situation.
Yeah, I don't plan to watch it either.
It's it's not. It's a decent coming of age movie. It's a terrible superhero movie.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you see the new website?
The With the Will website.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. It's weird. It looks like, I don't know. Like one thing I've kind of kept away from With the Will just because I'm like, the whole like message board thing feels very like early 2000s for me. But the new website, it looks like it's a website first that has a forum.
Well, I've always been big on making sure that if someone shows up to the address, that there is an actual thing to look at and not just the forum list.
Yeah, which I think is great.
And if someone just wants the forum list, it's right there and easy to find, easy to bookmark.
Because the way you do like news articles as like forum threads and not like blog posts, I always found interesting. And I think the new website, at least the landing page, kind of merges those ideas in a way that somebody could use this as like a news site.
Yeah.
And there's comments, but it's a discussion board too, so it works.
Yeah.
I am impressed.
I'm just glad that we can have more than 5 things on the front page now.
Yeah.
That was a limit that was a limit of the old portal software, which means I no longer have to do the maybe you were away from the site for a few days, so here's some news catch up that you can read through the 20 articles that have been on the front page over the last day or two, because now you can just scroll down and go to a second page.
Right. I forgot there's going to be a Digimon reboot in like a month until I went to this page.
It's looking really good. Like,
looks
shocking.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be all like, I have no expectation. This show isn't for me. If I don't like it, who cares? I'm an adult now, but I'm so excited and I hope I love it.
Yeah.
I did a video on my YouTube channel where I review all the clothes because that's the kind of thing I care about.
I still think the shocking thing is I expected the kids to get new actors, but they really went hardcore on getting people.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of voice actors, but it's like famous, like big time anime people, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Although the one that everyone seems to have gotten interested is Namikawa playing Yamato, because he was Daigo in Try.
Yeah, it's that whole thing, like the Tai Matt Daigo voice actor, like pentagram of coincidences is crazy. Because then, TK from 02 in America played Daigo, and it's just a whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I could see Johnny Young Bosch playing Matt in the Colon adaptation that they ever do. That's how weird all this stuff is.
Well, I think he could play effectively anyone.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If I said Johnny Young Bosch could play Joe, and you think about Joe running around with that voice, it works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You could have him make his voice higher, and as a bad idea, have him play little TK.
Oh my god, he'd do it though. He did. He was on Yokai Watch, and he did good.
Yeah.
For what it is.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is everything casts him for his normal voice, but he actually does have quite a wide range. It's just nothing wants him for the range.
I want him because he's great generic shonen action hero guy. But he totally has. I mean, he's not John DiMaggio, but he can do funny, weird, different voices.
Yeah. John DiMaggio's range is insane.
Does it God? I hate how cartoon movies have Josh Gad and stupid sitcom movie stars. What does it take for John DiMaggio to get a starring role in a movie? Why doesn't Disney ever put him in a movie? Why is it always Jack Black or someone?
Well, they own Futurama now.
That's right. And I was thinking, why isn't that on Disney Plus? But The Simpsons is,
I believe Fox did a huge thing a few years ago, Sci-Fi or somewhere, for Futurama. For The Simpsons, it just happened that Fox licensed it to a company Fox owns. They outbid everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened there.
Sci-Fi SYFY owns Futurama now?
No, they paid to show it.
Oh.
Yeah, it just happens that when Fox decided to put up The Simpsons for the first time on off-air stations, FX outbid everyone.
Okay.
So when Disney bought Fox, they simply not refunded FX's money, but they owned FX and took care of it, basically.
Mm. So wait, is Futurama not on Comedy Central anymore?
It stopped being on Adult Swim years ago at this point, I believe.
Well, it moved from there to Comedy Central when I was in high school or college.
I may be thinking of Comedy Central and not Sci-Fi. Then I may be mixing up my networks.
I haven't watched like TV in like a decade, so I have no idea what's going on with any of this stuff.
Just watch Star Trek and MASH. It's the easiest thing to do.
No, I'm not going to watch either of those shows literally ever.
MASH is still the best show there is.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Careful. All right. Somebody in the comments knows what's up about Comedy Central. Fucks. Or wait, no, they don't. Okay. It is on Comedy Central and Sci-Fi. That's good. Sci-Fi needs more like animated series, I think. Why don't they have? Do they have an anime block still? I feel like they did when I was in high school.
They did for a while, but I believe that was before they became Sci-Fi. If they want to be called Sci-Fi, they can fix the spelling. They do not get it both ways from me. If they don't want the name to say Sci-Fi, I'm not calling it that. It is Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I remember when that change happened. Like, literally, I was watching TV and it was old sci-fi and it changed like as like from show to show.
Literally, all I remember was every bad promo where like they had actors from their shows like in a place was made up like an old style discotheque or something, just walking through it in like slow motion and like Sci-Fi. And it was just
I remember like a bug. Like a little like cartoon CGI like
maybe I don't remember. At that point, I wasn't watching much.
That was the first time I ever watched Blade Runner was on Sci-Fi.
Oh,
and they had like a big giant bug pop up.
That's what you can spend your time on. You can get the Blade Runner game and play that. That just got re-released.
The game? Is it like awesome?
Westwood made it many, many years ago. It's still highly regarded. In fact, it was just re-released and they're remaking it.
Like a point and click?
Yeah. But like, it takes place at the same time as the movie I recall. It's like $9 on GOG right now.
Ito.
I may replay Sam and Max at some point. That game's so good.
I haven't done a point and click like since I was a kid. I need to find a good one.
Yeah, there hasn't been a good one in a long time. It's just there's a lot of dumb ones.
Somebody was doing a giveaway with like Steam keys they didn't want. And I was playing this like train game that's like rotoscoped live action, and it's like really bad. Like not bad like it's just a bad like oh it's so bad. Like it's bad like functionally. I got stuck in the inventory screen for like 5 minutes. That's how like just clunky everything was. It was just it's like badly made.
I may play the Final Fantasy VII demo again.
Remake?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
I'm interested, but after my experience with Life is Strange 2, I'm not getting an episodic game until it's all completed. And it's like
it's not episodic. Like it's not the whole story, but it's not episodic. This is fucking massive.
Sure, but it's still like how much is the first episode gonna be still? Like
it is
they're not releasing the whole thing at once.
It is a very expanded version of the Midgar stuff to the point that it's like 2 Blu-rays worth. It's trust me when I say it's not episodic. It is very, very big.
I don't know.
Yeah, a couple weeks for that. I'm looking forward to that.
Has that been delayed at all?
No, not. I mean, it was delayed prior to any of this happening, but just by a few weeks. I know
everything.
Yeah. Square said they're going ahead with the release. There may be some distribution issues for the physical, and I know a number of people are just like, if there's any issue with the physical, I'm just canceling, grabbing the digital, and I'm done with it.
God, the world is going to be so changed after this. Like everything is going digital, and people are going to be so used to it and realize it's easier.
That already was happening.
I know, but like this is like the tipping point. Like
I think that was long ago, to be honest. Because here's the thing. Go look. Well, you can't go look now, but like prior to this, go look at the media aisles at Best Buys and other shops. Those were like you remember walking through Best Buy and just being aisles and aisles of discs, right?
Kind of,
Their
yeah.
home video section is now roughly the size of one aisle that it used to be.
Yeah.
Or
Mine
like
here specify closed down, so that
or
that
like
just
or like
furthers your point.
or like GameStop's been crashing and burning for years at this point.
Yeah, they've been trying to stay open and pretend that they're essential, but they've been ordered to close now, and the
Yeah.
big rumor is that they're just never going to open up again.
Well, some won't, because some probably were, as far as I know, a number of them were planning to make it through the Animal Crossing and Doom pre-order so they didn't have to pay back the pre-order money and then just call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VII I'm looking forward to. I have so many dumb games I can play, so we'll see what I end up doing.
I have like 5 stacks of comics, like physical stacks.
I think there's been a lot of book and media sales the last few days. I haven't gotten a lot, but yesterday I got a stack of Star Trek books. I got like 15 books for like $20.
I had one friend who moved, so he brought a box of comics to Victory Point and was like, "Here, these are free." So I took a bunch of those. A local bookstore closed, and they opened up their inventory, like people just to come take. And so a friend of mine got a box of like 5 boxes of those, and I went and I looked through some of those. I just have so much. Like I spent like $30 on comics the past month, and I have like 700 comics. It's crazy. That's just physical stuff.
Yeah, I'm backlogged on a lot of comics also that I need to read.
Mm-hmm.
Although I've moved almost all of my comic reading now is digital.
Yeah. I used to tell companies like send me physical stuff in reality because I wanted to resell it to make money. But now if you send me a PDF, I'm going to read it like right away. If you send me a book, I have like literally 30 books Disney has sent me that I've never even opened. Oh yeah, digital just makes so much more sense.
See, I'm waiting for a database to finish so I can go through what comics I actually have to read. Because I haven't opened in a bit, so it's reloading. Here we go. Let's see here. I did buy the first volume of the remastered Sailor Moon manga, which looks good.
Yeah, that looks great.
Let's see. The first volume of the recent Bond stuff. Bunch of Transformers, G.I. Joe, and... Huh?
Just got announced.
What did?
That's getting picked up too. Sailor V.
Oh yeah, that was Wednesday, I think. So, yeah. But that's being done in the same remastered series as the Sailor Moon stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have a ton of stuff to read at some point. I need to finish Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Just know, Mark, every time you buy Sailor Moon merchandise, the Hunter x Hunter hiatus lasts 1 more week.
Don't read Hunter x Hunter, don't care.
How's Cosmic Ghost Rider? It looks awesome.
It is very strange and stupid and fun.
Good.
It is effectively would you go back in time and kill Hitler, basically.
Okay.
Frank Castle from the future, when he's the Ghost Rider and the Herald of Galactus, goes back in time to kill Thanos, gives Thanos the penance stare, and realizes Thanos is a baby's innocent, so he will try to raise him himself.
Wait. I knew Frank Castle was the Ghost Rider. He's also a Herald of Galactus?
In the future.
Okay.
He's
not doing Galactus duties right now, though. He's just Ghost Rider.
This Frank Castle is from the future. That's why he's cosmic.
Okay. Yes. Okay. See, I heard that it was just... I knew main Frank got a hold of like the War Machine suit. I thought that version of Frank became Ghost Rider and also just went into space for some reason. I only learned recently that
if he did, I'm not aware of it. I'm not willing to. I'm not willing to say he's not. I'm just saying that as far as I'm aware, he's not.
I'm pretty sure the Cosmic Ghost Rider is a different of some sort.
Yeah, it's from like 1,000 years in the future, something like that.
Is he still Ghost Rider? Like Frank? Is he still Frank Castle? Frank Castle, or is he just a guy from the future whose name is Frank Castle?
No, he's Frank Castle.
future.
Yes, it is the Punisher, skull on the shirt and everything.
Okay, cool. I just won a contest. That's what that beep was. Awesome.
That is what the mute switch is for.
Well, I forgot. It's on mute now.
But yeah, it is Frank Castle as we know him, just far in the future.
Okay, cool. I just finished Superior Spider-Man. It's great.
I read that a few years ago. It was the best part was probably the end. I liked it. It just went too long.
Yeah, I'm surprised how long it went.
Oh no, I'm not at all, because once they did it, it's like, oh, it's a year and a half until a Spider-Man movie. Gee, I wonder when Peter Parker will return.
It's one thing I try to like. I like big two heroes a lot, but I really just the corporate meddling has gotten to a point where it's like they make it so hard.
I'd say the problem is they let the writers do stuff. And then you end up with the year and a half storyline that doesn't really matter by the end. Like, by the end of Superior Spider-Man, there is nothing really from Superior Spider-Man there.
And doesn't everything that comes after is that Peter got a hold of like Peter technically has a doctorate and like Parker Industries takes off. Isn't the next story that he's like a millionaire now?
Yes, but then that's all gone by now also.
That's just big two in general that they always like snap back after a few years.
That's any media. Because in theory, the job is to put everything back on the shelf for the next person.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we're going through it with Digimon right now.
No, because that was always Digimon. People just don't want to. Because here's the thing.
That's true.
Like, here's the thing. Tamers isn't that different from Adventure as much as people want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, it's not Taichi with his Digimon, not Agumon with not Patamon wings on the head.
Yeah.
And look, it's not Willis with Terriermon. And then with Frontier, it's, oh, look, it's not Taichi again. It's just this time they've gotten rid of the sort of fake context of it's going to be, like, remember with Atmon? It's Digimon, but not Digimon. It's going to be all new. There's no Digivice this time. And it's like, yes, there is. You just called it something else. Like, that was one of the big things with Atmon, was how different everything was going to be. And no, it really isn't.
I think that's part of why, aside from I just like hate piracy, like dealing with it and like the moral implications of everything, I didn't give a shit enough to keep watching it before it got announced, just because I felt like I'd already seen it. And now that it's been officially released, I still feel like I've already seen it, you know?
But I mean, that's what the point of it was to do more Digimon.
Yeah. I would like them to do more Digimon that is not more, like, I want like 12 episode experimental anime series, you know?
But that's the thing is as much as the audience says they want that stuff, no, they really don't.
Yeah,
Like, even people are like, Survive looks so different. It's like, no, it doesn't. It's Adventure. I mean, I've made the joke 1,000 times. It's Adventure Extreme. They've even basically gone at this point, and now there's 8 kids who get lost at a camp.
It's different because we've never had a tactical click on squares game.
Yes, we have. And the original.
Oh, that's right.
The Ryu games were that.
Games. Yeah.
And those, like, and a lot of people don't understand why I'm so down on Survive. It's not that I am. It's that it does not look like they're trying to do that much. And they keep putting down their own game, which I kind of find weird and hilarious.
Doing what?
Like, anytime there's an interview or a video with Habu and other staff, it's almost like, I swear they keep going like, oh, the gameplay's not going to be fancy, but it's like, stop. Like, they keep talking down about their own game. It's really fucking weird.
It feels like how Hacker's Memory was supposed to be like a hold you over before the next game. Like, Survive doesn't look like the next big Digimon game, you know?
Well, it isn't. Believe me, yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, believe me when I say they've made it clear it's not.
Yeah.
One issue is they won't stop talking about how next up story. It's like, talk about the game that's coming out now. Don't worry about telling. We've literally known about the next game before Hacker's Memory was out.
And what do we know about the next game? You know,
it's a Digimon story game. It's next gen. It's really next gen. That is, it will have the digital world in it, but it's like, we don't tell us about the next game when you have a game that's not out yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of Survive, but it looks like a $20 game. It doesn't look like a big Digimon blockbuster, you know?
Actually, 1 second. I'm going to check one. Let's see. Here is what I would say for anyone looking forward to Survive and who honestly does not know. Go to Fanatical, which has game sales right now. You can get the PC version of Disgaea 1 and 2 with extras for $8.79. Play both of those. That is roughly what Survive's going to be. If you play that and you like it, Survive's going to be probably very good. Because more or less, Survive looks like a torn down version of Disgaea.
I'm not going to do that because I have the PS2 versions, but yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, that's what Digimon games, like the 3D story games, also feel like, very torn down, like versions of other games, you know?
No, see, I would say the 3D story games actually feel like built up versions of the DS story games. I don't feel like they're torn down versions of other games. I just feel like they're not as good as other games.
They're built up in the sense that they're like 3D and they're bigger and the stories are bigger, but gameplay wise, they lose some features.
I just don't think they're fun to me. I feel like if I start playing one, I have fun for a while, but then after a few hours, I just sort of never touched again, and then go, oh yeah, that existed. Like
Yeah.
I got the Switch version and the PC version. I was playing it to write about it, and once I put down the game after a couple days and had to actually write, I wrote, and it's like, I don't think the game's great, but I think it's good, it's fun, blah 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 blah, and I never touched it again.
Surprised you got the Switch and PC versions, because I remember you got the PS4 version when it first came out. Cyber Sleuthing, you like played it for like 5 minutes.
Well, to be fair, and I make this very clear in the review, they sent me both of them.
Oh, look at you.
I mean, company sent me stuff when you were on the podcast.
Oh, I know. Company sent me stuff like,
but yes, the thing is, the problem is Survive has spent a very long time in production for a game that, and I'm not going to argue with people who say it looks impressive. It does not. It looks like a very basic anime SRPG, and the weirdest thing to me is, like, there's not going to be a full environment to walk around. It's going to be the little scenes where you can walk around and look at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It feels really, really like the Tenchi SRPG that came out in the 90s. Like, even the map screen looks shockingly close to that. I was actually surprised. But we'll see. Hey, here's the thing. Conceptually, I don't think there's much impressive stuff there. It's relatively basic. But if the game's done well, it's done well. And it won't matter. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Cyber Sleuth didn't like reinvent the JRP genre, but it's you know, for people who like it, it's fun and decent, you know.
But here's the thing. I would say the one issue with that is the people who are most impressed by it, like, they aren't going off and playing Dragon Quest XI.
Yeah.
They're sticking to Cyber Sleuth and maybe comparing it to an old Pokemon game. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not going in, most of them are not going and playing good JRPGs. Like, if you go play Dragon Quest XI, it just completely smokes Cyber Sleuth completely out. Did you play any Dragon Quest XI?
That's the newest one with like the purple tunic.
Yes.
Thing. Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. The demo's 10 hours long.
Oh.
And the demo save, when you finish it, imports into the final game, so you don't have to redo that portion, because it's just the first 10 hours of the game.
That's cool.
So that's something anyone can do, which is literally just grab the demo, play it, and if you finish and like it, you can continue on.
My problem with Dragon Quest games is I was playing Dragon Quest VIII a few months ago, and
You know what's weird?
Dragon Quest 11
I never got into 8. Like 8 is supposed to be one of the better ones. It just never quite clicked for me. The weird thing about 11 is how much you can customize stuff with the game. It's kind of weird. Like, you can have it so you can run around when you're in battles. You can set it so you don't. You can set it so you control your teammates. You can set it so your teammates act on their own based on situational commands. You can play the whole game in Super Nintendo style 2D graphics.
Yeah, I saw that. It's the whole game?
Yes.
Wow.
I believe the demo does not have that portion, but yes, you can play through the game with 2D graphics if you want.
It's cool, and I'm looking at a screenshot right now, and it's actually really nice.
Yeah.
It's neat. I don't know. I like the idea of Dragon Quest. I like JRPGs with Akira Toriyama fantasy style artwork and everything. Just a lot of them just feel the same to me.
No argument there. But that's also why I would point to that one as the one to play, because that is like the Uber RPG.
Yeah.
Like if someone wants to get into them or try them out, there's nothing bigger with more to do than that, basically.
Dragon Quest always felt more inviting than something like Final Fantasy, which is very much opposite of inviting.
I'd say depends on the game, because some of them are not quite.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the ultimate example of kind of weird was the movie they made, which is a movie of 5.
But I haven't. So it's an adaptation of Dragon. It's just an adaptation of Dragon Quest V.
Yes, but it also feels like, especially in the first few minutes, they really expect you to have seen the game. It's a little weird in that case.
Yeah, that's weird.
Unlike the Ni no Kuni movie, which is just its own story, not connected to any game specifically. Let's see, I
haven't played a Ni no Kuni yet.
The first one, I would say, is probably a better Digimon game than Cyber Sleuth.
So isn't the first one on PS3 though, not PS4?
They remastered it for PS4. They ported the non-remaster to the Switch.
Well, maybe I will check it out.
Yeah, it's shocking how much of a Digimon game it is.
All right. I'm all about Digimon games.
You play as a kid who gets a monster and is taken to another world and has to save it.
Is it a monster battling game though?
No.
Just has monster
you control your characters, and you can give commands to your monster things.
Right.
I believe the second game, oddly, is not an RPG. It's like active battle and stuff. But the first game's good. You'll probably like it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it in many years though, so I could be slightly off about some details, quite possibly. I'm just happy I'm not going to have to edit or write notes for this when we're done.
Why?
Because I'm not going to put it up as a podcast.
Are you happy about that, though?
Because it means I don't have to spend the time to do it all.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't miss about podcasts.
Don't have to write notes, don't have to get it up. I'm very happy about that. Let's see here.
What else have I been doing? Working from home, or are you off?
No, I always did my work from home.
Oh, okay.
I was doing work until about 3 a.m. last night, just doing stuff.
God.
Well, I'd rather just get stuff done. Yeah, my view is Sorry, go ahead.
I haven't had like a job in like 8 months, so my sleep schedule has been like very horrible. Where it used to be, I like towards the end of my job, I was coming home at like 5, and I'd like have a snack and just I wouldn't want dinner. And I'd just go to bed like before 10. I was like so exhausted, and now I have no reason to go to sleep ever. So I could like stay up until like 3 a.m. and usually that means reading manga in bed because I don't want to like be up. But now I could like be on my computer at like until 4 in the morning, just like doing stupid shit just because.
Be productive and watch MASH.
All right, those two things don't go together.
Why does MASH not go together?
MASH is not. I don't see how watching an old sitcom that's older than you could be productive.
It teaches you about life. And it teaches you about life in the same way that Scrubs teaches you about life.
So bizarre. Like I'm fascinated about like super geeky people and like the very non-geeky things they're interested in. Like all my old Power Rangers friends were like really into like gay shit, like Golden Girls. So I'm not surprised that you're into MASH, but the fact that you're super into it is like, I don't know. It's one of the randomest things.
I don't know. It's a show that ran for 11 years. It ignores the conventions that people like. Like, for example, like I will argue about, say, does X count? Like, for example, the Rio games don't count for adventure, but some stuff from them does. But generically, the games themselves do not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but then there's people who, if something happens, they have to try to make it fit. They're like, no, everything's canon. It has to fit somehow, and blah, blah, blah. And then if you watch MASH, MASH literally just like kicks at the idea that someone would look at it that way. Like the show is the Korean War. If I look up the Korean War, so the actual Korean War, as far as the U.S. and other countries taking place, is 1950 to 1953, June to July. I can guarantee you that if you watch MASH, there are more than 3 Christmas episodes.
Sure.
With entirely different plots and the characters doing things different days. So there are more Christmas episodes than there are years that took place.
I've always heard that it was kind of like that 70s show type thing where it kind of stretched.
No. Because here's the thing. No. I mean in the sense of, like, it makes no attempt.
Okay.
So, like, for example, there's an episode of MASH where Hawkeye's writing a letter to his sister. Making sure she's watching after mom and dad and blah, 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 blah. If you watch other episodes, it's very clear his mom's dead and he is an only child.
Okay.
Like, there is no putting MASH together in that fashion.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Like, because there's some people where if something happens, they're unwilling to accept that there is a way for it, just it's not being paid attention to. It's just not a concern. And it's just very entertaining, very well made, and it's fun to watch.
All right.
And it also sometimes just decides to punch you in the gut over and over again.
Right.
And especially when
I feel that just being, like you said, in the Digimon fandom, where like a character will sneeze in a commercial and the fandom will try to connect it to Rio's crappy games and everything, and the multiverse and homeostasis and the Royal Knights and whoever the Olympic is.
So the thing is I think it's interesting when people do that. The moment they completely lose me, in the sense of I'm just ignoring them entirely, is when they go, well, it takes place in the multiverse, so everything's canon. It's like, that's not what anyone's fucking talking about. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That is the point when I'm just, nope. Because at that point, you're not having a conversation.
Oh, God.
But.
Oh, I was going to ask you a question about the new Scooby-Doo movie. and I saw the cast, and oh man.
I saw the trailer, and most of the cast I'm fine with. The Shaggy does not sound good. Really,
Why he's the best voice actor they've ever had in that job. Who? Oh, it's Will Forte. God.
the thing is I like Will Forte. That's what's weird. Like, but he does not do there's no Shaggy voice there. And the weird thing
That's
is,
what I'm saying.
I think
Like,
what bothers me the most about it being Will Forte is one, Will Forte is good at impressions, so I assume he has some sort of like when they announced him at okay, they're not going with Matthew Lillard, they're going with Will Forte, but he must have a great Shaggy voice.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, if he doesn't, okay, what about Bill Hader? Bill Hader must have a great Shaggy voice somewhere. I just find it odd because, like, I could understand replacing Matthew Lillard if they had, like, a huge name actor who could do Shaggy for advertising. I like Will Forte, but I don't know who you advertise Will Forte to.
Well, the rest of the cast is Zac Efron, and
No, I know, but what I mean is your that's your advertising cast.
yes.
So why is Will Forte Shaggy? Is my main issue with it.
The whole cast feels very. Who the hell is Jason Isaac? Okay, yeah. The cast feels like it's targeted towards younger millennials who grew up with, Mean Girls. You got Amanda Seyfried, High School Musical. Gina Rodriguez is kind of random, but I guess that same target demographic watched Jane the Virgin. So Will Forte was, big on SNL for that generation's time with SNL. Was he though? Yeah.
But what I mean is
So
but what I mean is like even the stuff he did that was popular, like MacGruber, was not that popular. Like I love MacGruber, but it's not like the movie did well.
It's one of those things where I think the idea.
I mean, I love that we're getting more MacGruber. To be fair,
getting more MacGruber.
Yes.
As what?
They're doing a TV show.
God.
Like with the movie cast and everything. MacGruber the series. Because it's done well on home video, but like that's not MacGruber fans did not show up in groups for the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I will happily take that they remastered Zombie Island.
I'm sorry. Wait, they did what? They remastered Zombie Island?
Yeah. Zombie Island's the best Scooby-Doo movie there is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they remastered it. It looks great. They made a terrible sequel to it that's... Oh, man, that was weird.
Wait. They made a sequel to a one-off DVD Scooby-Doo movie?
Well, no,
what was it about?
Here's what you need to understand. Scooby-Doo was effectively done. It was done. Zombie Island was done basically as, well, let's try doing... let's see if we brought Scooby-Doo back and did things a bit different, if we could do more Scooby-Doo. And that's what Zombie Island was. And it did it differently. It was really good. And at some point, it like sort of devolved. And the sequel is the devolved version of it, rather than trying to do more. Like, part of it was, okay, they're not kids anymore, they're adults, they have real jobs and everything. The sequel like tries to retcon that, going, oh no, they were student jobs over the summer, and it's like, no, if you watch the movie, they don't like line up, and it's not done very well. They tried, though. Well, they sort of tried. And then the most recent show had Urkel in it.
Like an animated cartoon Urkel?
Like animated cartoon Urkel, voiced by Jaleel White, coming back as Urkel.
Like for a one-off episode? Like
yes.
Captain Planet on
it was Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. It was basically like doing the old Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh.
So I'm going to read through some of the cast and who they played. Kevin Conroy as Batman.
Okay.
Ian James Corlett as Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
John DiMaggio as Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. What?
Jim
Okay.
Gaffigan as himself. Ricky Gervais as himself.
We started off strong. I see what's happening now.
Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Okay.
Rachel Kimsey as Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Chris Paul as himself.
How was that?
Chris Paul, the basketball player, I believe he was part of like a golf tournament in an episode, and the tournament got shut down, like a charity golf tournament.
Okay.
Penn and Teller as themselves.
You know who that is?
Penn and Teller?
Yeah.
You don't know who Penn and Teller is?
Kids today know who that is.
They have that show on the CW that people like, where people try to fool Penn and Teller with magic tricks.
Oh.
You don't
know that.
That's actually a good show.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah. Let's see. Sia as herself. Wanda Sykes as herself. Kenan Thompson as himself. Weird Al Yankovic as himself. And George Takei as himself.
This is on Cartoon Network, I'm guessing?
No, it was on the Boomerang digital subscription service.
Oh.
And VRV members could watch it. Yeah, the Batman Joker one was the finale.
Yeah.
And according to the synopsis I'm reading, Alfred was apparently Daphne's uncle.
Okay. That sure. I don't see why not.
Yeah, some the Scooby-Doo direct-to-video stuff has gotten weirder in the last few years, and I'm not sure why. It's very odd what they've done because it's a lot of references to like get older Scooby-Doo fans in, and then everyone watches and like, this isn't that good. Like they did a sequel to the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Oh God, I see that. Oh, and what's his face is on the cover.
Yes.
Oh my.
Vincent Van Gogh.
Oh, at least the full cast is there. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, the problem is some of the stuff from the show is missing though. It's very odd.
That weird kid in it.
Flim Flam?
Is that his name? Yeah.
Yes, Flim Flam is in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not. It was okay. It was very strange.
I forgot there was a Bobby Flay movie.
I think they were going to do a second one. I think I remember someone saying.
I know. Lego movie, of course.
There's been a lot of weird Scooby-Doo stuff.
I mean, you can't. There's nothing. What do you do after Mystery Incorporated? You know.
No, but I'm saying like this is where it's weird. Is if you go back, all of this is because of Zombie Island. Like that's how good Zombie Island was. Is it sparked everything Scooby-Doo since.
Yeah.
Like if you watch Zombie Island and then watch Mystery Inc., you'll understand why they made Mystery Inc. Even though it was years later. It was.
Right.
I would call it a not quite thematic sequel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Tokujo was commenting on the Scooby-Doo Kiss crossover, and they're making a sequel to that.
That's cool. Kevin Smith was in it? What?
Kevin Smith has cameoed in a number of Warner direct-to-video things in recent years, as I recall.
Oh.
More so since he's been directing Warner Brothers TV stuff, so he's been on the lot, so they'll grab him for cameos.
I see. You know what? They should get Macaulay Culkin to be in one of these movies because he's all about getting his face out there.
I'm sure they will have him cameo in the Home Alone stuff.
There's a Home Alone Scooby-Doo movie? What?
No, Disney Plus is doing more Home Alone.
Oh my God! As what?
I think it was going to be like a limited series type deal.
Oh, that's right. I feel like I heard that, and people were wondering how the hell do you turn that into a TV show?
Yeah, that is weird. I almost wonder if they mean mini-series instead of TV show.
Right. Or
It's
like it could be
weird.
like Netflix style where it's just basically a big movie cut into episodes, more or less, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if
That's not the kind of show that you
I
turn
think
into
I think the weirdest thing is that they're doing a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
What's that weird?
Because it's one of those things that it feels like they're grabbing it because what I like to say is a lot of things that were like weirdly positive old stuff, they will bring back, and then you have like the characters old and sad now.
Yeah.
And considering they've gotten Rick Moranis back, I feel like that's where they're going to go, is like he's old and sad and his son gets the stuff to work to prove that his dad really did do it or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. After the Lizzie McGuire debacle, we'll see how that turns out.
Although it's especially weird because I think Joe Johnston's directing it.
Oh.
He directed the original one.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that was his first movie.
Oh.
Because he was like a Lucasfilm assistant.
Right. Did he direct Rocketeer, or did he just write it?
He directed a lot of those weird 90 movies like Jumanji, Rocketeer.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was before Rocketeer. Rocketeer is newer than I remembered. It feels more.
I'm 99% sure Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was his first movie.
It was, according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
Investigation over. We solved the mystery.
God,
he did that weird Nutcracker movie. What a strange career.
God, I wonder if Disney Plus has the TV show. That was really good.
The Honey, I Shrunk the Kids show?
Yeah, that show was shockingly good.
Yeah, I remember it existing and maybe saw some episodes, but I don't think I ever watched it. And my wife said they watched it.
I think it was like on Saturday night syndication back in the 90s. Like the late 90s. I think it aired like Saturday night at like 8 on syndication, so at some places it probably aired Saturday afternoon. It was the same kind of setup that it was for like Hercules and Xena, where it's a part of a syndicated block.
Right.
That was a weird show.
66 episodes. That's impressive. Like this feels like my memories make it feel like it was like a 13 episode like flop,
No, it wasn't 13 episodes, but you may be thinking of Team Knight Rider.
I don't even know what that is.
They brought back Knight Rider in the 90s. But like a team of people with vehicles.
Team, not teen.
Team. Team.
I don't have our Disney Plus info. I was going to look it up.
Like no Michael Knight or anything, but like they had motorcycles that could combine into a car.
What?
Yeah, there was all kind. There was like let's see, there was a it was like an SUV, a Ford Mustang, a pickup truck, and 2 motorcycles, I think, and the 2 motorcycles could combine into a car. And they had a VTOL.
Oh my god, I see this motorcycle car. It looks like a Power Rangers vehicle.
I want to say that they changed the design when season 2 began. So like I think it was like silver in season 1 and like neon yellow in season 2.
Lord, this looks awful.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, it was stupid and awful, but it was amazing.
Sure. Wow. Oh, I see the yellow one.
Yeah. The yellow one, as I recall, like the silver motorcycles, they hid as a car better. The yellow one, if I remember right, you can just see, if I remember correctly, you can just see the motorcycles and it's like a plastic bubble in the middle.
Yeah, the other one looks like a crappy 90s thing, but it looks like a cool, vehicle design. The yellow one looks like they took 2 motorcycles
and put a bubble in the middle, as I recall.
Yeah, it stuck them to there's like a plastic thing in between. So the motorcycles look cooler on their own, but the combined vehicle,
yeah, that's exactly what I remember. Is the motorcycles looked better on their own in season 2, because the motorcycles in season 1, it's sort of like like, do you remember in like the 60s and 70s they had the weird futuristic stuff that was always just puffy?
How old do you think I am? No, I don't remember that.
What? No, I mean like watching movies and TV when you saw future stuff back then. Like
give me some examples.
See, but the problem is you don't watch that stuff, so I'm trying to think of examples you would actually...
I mean, I know of things from this. I know Doctor Who exists, Yeah.
I guess the way to put it is like the Rad Bug sort of feels like a 70s-ish thing where They went with a beetle, but they actually made it like puffier with stuff on it. They painted it like a whitish cream color rather than trying to make it look futuristic. So it sort of just looks like junk.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
that's what
just
I'm talking
nailed
about.
junk together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's what the
Yeah.
original motorcycles look like.
Yeah. No, yeah. The original motorcycles look bad, but like in a cheesy, goofy,
Yes.
cool
And
way.
then the better ones, it's just normal motorcycles, and they've painted them yellow.
They just smush together. They don't need like.
And is it?
Yeah.
But I just remember the bubble in the middle because it's like a yellow, like it's like a not a claw, not track. Why I can't remember the damn, not a tractor. I can't remember the word.
Forklift.
Yes, it looks like a forklift turned upside down with a bubble in the middle.
See, I see a bunch of pictures, but they're all at like weird angles. I can't see exactly what this bubble you're talking about is, but I believe you because it looks like off. And it looks like they're from decades apart, not seasons apart. That's what's wild about it.
Yeah, but like I don't think any of the other vehicles changed. I think it was just like they just went, this motorcycle design isn't working. Give me a bubble.
Well, it looks like it. If I could see this thing in real life, it looks like it would have fallen apart like between seasons.
Maybe that's what I don't know why they changed it. Like and I'm not saying it looked good. I'm just saying I don't know.
Other thing is the yellow one, the bikes look like actual bikes, and I know with like TV and movies, if you're doing a vehicle, you have to get it like cleared for on-camera driving
to be
street performance.
To be fair,
and I know that like when Kamen Rider did a car, yeah. What
I was gonna say, to be fair with the season 1 ones, it's hard. Like they are real motorcycles, but those things were so covered in shit. Maybe they weren't street legal anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking happened because I'm looking at a picture of one of the season 1 bikes on its own, and this like doesn't look safe. It looks like it's gonna like fall apart. So, yeah.
I'm mostly just laughing at being able to bring up Team Knight Rider at all.
That's weird things happen when we get together, man.
I miss weird, stupid syndicated television shows, whereas like they had X amount of money do the dumbest thing you could think of.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny part was the last big. Do you know what the last big syndicated TV show was?
I don't even know when syndication stopped being a big thing.
It stopped being years ago, but there was one more syndicated show that clawed itself up a number of years ago from the same team that made Hercules and Xena.
Oh God, what?
One sec, I have to find the actual title. It was like based on a novel series and everything, but like it was. If I can find it, let's see. I'll search for Rob Tappert. He worked on all those. Let's see. Legend of the Seeker.
Wait, I watched that. What? No.
It was based on the Sword of Truth books, and it lasted for 2 years. And it was syndicated in 2008.
God, I remember this.
Yes.
I don't think I watched this, but I know of it.
It was terrible and great. And unfortunately now, I've pulled up a list of Rob Tapert TV shows, and I'm remembering all the amazingly terrible and great TV shows he made, like Mantis. I fucking love that show when it was on. It was 22 episodes superhero show on Fox.
The hell's Mantis? Oh God!
It was a crippled rich man who had a suit that was like a praying mantis that gave him superpowers, so he became a vigilante.
Yeah, that's an ugly costume. I've seen that before.
I loved that show when it was first airing. I don't know why. I just really liked the show. To be fair, I've always liked Carl Lumbly. Great actor.
Mm-hmm.
So him being a lead in a show was great.
Mm.
I always liked him in all the DC comic stuff he did. Because he was Martian Manhunter in Justice League Unlimited. That's probably where you'd know him from.
Yeah, he's good.
All these terrible old TV shows. Everyone go watch. I would say go watch Team Knight Rider, but I don't think there's anywhere to watch anymore. I think it's literally like just been nuked from. Oh God, it's at no, it's for sale.
What? Can I buy it?
Yes. 1 second.
I've always wanted to like buy the rights to a crappy old show that nobody.
No,
wants
I
to
don't
see
mean the rights. Yeah.
I guess that's on like DVD somewhere.
It's only season 1. They won't sell you season 2. 1 second. Wait, come on. Is season 2 really not available, or did I just click the wrong thing? No, it's just season 1. That's amazing. Okay, wait. I'm going to read the first and last episodes of season 1, just the titles, okay?
Okay, I'm excited for this.
Fallen Nation.
Okay.
Like that's an overly serious like first episode title, right? Are you ready for the season? Are you ready? Legion of Doom. Wait, okay, now I'm just going to read random episode titles. Are you ready?
Hang on.
Oh God, these episode titles are so fucking. Wait, I'm going to read these in order. These are amazing.
Okay.
Okay, ready? The Magnificent TKR.
Okay.
Because TKR is Team Knight Rider.
Okay. We're talking about. Okay, I forgot what we were talking about for a second. Yes.
The A-List.
Okay.
KRO. Inside Trader. Choctaw L9. Everything to Fear. Sky One. The Iron Maiden. Oil and Water. Et tu, Dante. The Bad Seed. Out of the Past. The Return of Mega Man.
What?
The Angels in Chains. The Blonde Woman. The Ixtafa Affair. A Home Away from Home. EMP. And the next two are the last ones. Are you ready? The next two are the best ones. Apocalypse Maybe.
Okay.
Spy Girls.
Every single one of those sounds like a different genre.
Oh, wait. There were 2 seasons, but there are only 22 episodes. So the one season on for sale online is every episode, and it's $15.
Oh.
Man, I never want to watch this show again. I'm not. I'm 100. It was terrible. It wasn't great. Like when this was on, I was like 12, and it wasn't great. It was fun to watch, but it was not great. I'm not watching this again. Holy shit! I didn't realize it. I don't know, $15. I'm almost tempted to watch this stupid piece of shit.
I mean,
wait, what? Hold it. It was only a single season? No. What? Huh. It was only a single season.
okay.
There must have been like a mid-season break or something. Because
let's see. Episodes: October, December, January, February, and then the last 5 or so episodes were like a month apart. No, there was a little bit of a break towards the end. It looks like.
Okay, but 1 second. I need to see when did the motorcycles? 1 second, because now I'm like really fucking curious.
Oh yeah, if it wasn't different production blocks, why would they change the motorcycles in the middle of one
Team Knight Rider? Oh, good. I will check the Knight Rider wiki. I'm sure it will be. Yeah, I was searching for Team Knight Rider. The article on Team Knight Rider is like the shortest fucking thing you'd imagine.
Oh, of course. The Wikipedia one's pretty decent, but
it doesn't give information like that though.
There's no
because you looked up the photos. There definitely are 2 different sets of motors. When the fuck did they change this?
So let's see.
God bless that somehow we're talking about a 1-season failed spinoff of Knight Rider before the other failed 1-season spinoff of Knight Rider.
About Erica and her AI.
No, I don't want to know about the Ford Mustang. Okay, wait. I found an article. Holy shit, that motorcycle's worse than I thought it was. Okay, all I see is the second. They just keep referring to the first half version of the motorcycle and the second half. They don't say when they changed it.
Or why?
Maybe it was filmed in two half seasons and they just burned it off. Maybe.
I am still standing by it. Just fell apart.
Oh my god! I forgot that the motorcycles changed paint jobs when they combined the yellow ones. I only remember that. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
I forgot that they turned into completely different black motorcycles when they combined.
What I'm guessing now is the original version was 2 customized bullshit bikes that actually physically combined. And I think the yellow ones, they built a car that looked like it had 2 bikes.
Okay, wait. I'm looking at a photo of an actress on the bike. She's on the bike, but you can't see her legs. Like, it's that big. One sec. I'm going to put this in the chat room so everyone can see what I'm talking about, and you can pull it up there. Like, she's sitting on the bike there, right? I think so. Or do you think that's a perspective thing where she's standing next to it?
If I zoom in, it looks like she might. I can't tell by her posture if she's like sitting and it's like.
No, I can't tell if she's standing next to it or it looks to me like she's sitting on, but I could be. Why are we talking about this?
I found another picture that's a better angle and it won't open. God,
this is pathetic. We're looking up photos of bad 90s motorcycles.
In this photo, it looks more like it's it just has like walls, basically, if you know what I mean. I think there's like a little seat inside of it.
Oh, good. I found the villains from the episode The Iron Maiden while looking for the motorcycle. Wow, that's... Whoo!
They're just like silver motorcycle armor because I'm looking at
yes. Yes. It is literally like it's just motorcycle suits that they spray painted silver.
All right, Mark, here's the deal. I don't have a job anymore. Once we're allowed to go outside, I'm going to fly to wherever you live, and we're going to make one of these shows. This just looks like a lot of fun.
We can't do a worse job than Team Knight Rider.
We'll try worser, and we'll do it.
We can do the failed not Star Trek they made Andromeda.
That was a failed show?
No, but it wasn't a failed show, but I believe it was one of those where they contractually had gotten an agreement for like X number of seasons. I remembered liking it for like seasons 1 and 2, and then like the show went completely psychotically nuts. Man, I remember the show being like, I remember enjoying it for like 1 or 2 seasons, and then I just went, I don't know what the fuck's going on. There's only one option, Victor. We have to bring back Team Knight Rider.
I'm telling you, who do we got to buy the rights from?
Oh no, Universal owns it, I believe. Like it is it is like real Knight Rider. It's not just like coincidentally legally close to Knight Rider. Like
I believe you, but I still think Knight Rider is the kind of franchise at this point that we could still buy the rights to just the Team Knight Rider spin-off universe.
No, because here's the thing. They keep believing that they're going to do like a big budget movie like Fast and the Furious type thing.
Oh, they're going to try to do a expanded universe?
Well, I think they canceled that and now they're going to try to do a TV show. But at one point, like literally they had Justin Lin producing and directing a movie.
Oh, he would have been good.
Yes.
I mean,
but at that sorry, go ahead.
Why don't they just do it in the Fast and Furious universe?
Because I think the problem is it's just Fast and Furious at this point.
Why don't they just do a movie where it's Knight Rider?
No. But what I'm saying is there is nothing to do with Knight Rider in that because of how those movies are at this point. It just is the car talking. There's no difference in what the car does.
Okay, so make a Fast and Furious movie where the car talks.
Or
Boom.
we shall move on from Team Knight Rider, and we shall move on to the Knight Rider sequel set in the far future of Knight Rider 2010. Which
The
was
show that was a more mainstream thingy that they attempted?
No, Knight Rider 2010 was when they did a pilot movie to see if they would do another TV show.
Oh.
And it
God. Oh,
God, no. That's Knight Rider 2000. 2010 was the horrible, not quite Knight Rider they made. I forgot that existed. Oh, God, I forgot about this. I'm thinking of Knight Rider 2. That's Knight Rider 2000. Knight Rider 2010 was an attempt to do, before they decided to make Team Knight Rider, it was like Knight Rider, but in
it's like Mad Max-y.
Yes. Oh, God, I forgot that existed entirely. I 100% forgot that existed. I just said the wrong name.
Oh. So I looked up that first and it looks awful. Then
Yes.
I looked up Knight Rider 2000, which looks so much worse.
Knight Rider 2000 is amazing.
Does it look like this, though?
It is literally... Knight Rider 2000 is amazing. It is literally... David Hasselhoff is back. Kit is back. They accidentally attack James Doohan.
Oh.
And when they realize it's James Doohan after he's been attacked, they find him mumbling Star Trek lines because he's delirious.
Okay. Oh God, I found that ugly motorcycle car again.
And as I recall, the Power Ranger crew stole the car.
Wait, this ugly red looking thing is in Power Rangers somewhere?
Yes. As I recall, it was a prop car built for the show, and it got put in storage. But they filmed some of it out in. I think they filmed some of it out in Santa Clarita, which is where I used to live and where Power Rangers was filmed for years. Huh? And I guess they found it in storage, and it's like a future car that shows up in Power Rangers, and I'm 99% sure it's the same fucking car.
There's not a lot of cars in Power Rangers. I'm trying to think of what you're talking about.
It was Time Force, I think. I think it was like a future car in that show.
Oh, that's right.
It could have been Wild Force because they did some Time Force episodes of that though. But I'm 99% sure the car shows up in it. I believe it was the Knight 4000.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 99% sure that car shows up in Power Rangers.
Whoa. Jeez, what is this? So I looked up Power Rangers Time Force car, and I got Internet Movie Car Database, which is a website that I guess logs cars as they appear in movies. And it's nerds deciding what type of cars.
Yes.
And yeah, I found it. So they repainted it into a cop car.
Wait, it wasn't red? I was pretty sure.
It's the same. I'm looking at the lips because that's why I was confused about this Knight Rider car. It looks ugly.
Okay, wait. So you're telling me I was right by accident?
Yes.
Wow, that's okay. So then, what car am I thinking of then? Because I could have sworn that it was still red in Power Rangers. Huh. Somehow I must have seen a completely different car that I thought was that, and it just coincidentally happened to be in the same show.
They say every time you remember something, you're rewriting that memory to your memory. So maybe you remembered the context of the car being in Power Rangers and forgot the mental image of what it looked like. But
maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking at this cop car, and it's that same ugly 2000 car, but painted to look like a cop car.
Let's see, what other old TV or movies that you wouldn't know about could I show you that will make you hate yourself?
We are into our second hour now.
Oh, good. I found it. Here you go, Victor.
Ew. Oh, wait, I know this.
The
Oh, wait,
horrible,
no, I don't.
the horrible Fox Family movie Men in White, which
God,
was
this aired? What? This was made? What?
yes, it is a terrible. It was made by National Lampoon and Saban, and at one point I believe they accidentally blow up a Power Ranger in the movie.
This was actually made?
Yes, this was actually made. Power Rangers are actually in it. It has name actors in it.
So I thought this was something else, but I was wrong. But I guess I'm because so I went to a Tony Oliver did a convention panel, and he was talking about stuff, and he showed like a proof of concept thing that parody Men in Black, starring the Bulk and Skull actors, and it was called Men in White. And it was basically this, but I guess he pitched that and it didn't go through, but then it did. Is he involved in this at all? This is so weird.
I don't think Tony Oliver was involved with this, but
I'm not seeing his name. Wow.
But don't worry. One of the lead characters is Biff from Back to the Future.
Oh, of course. But which Power Ranger actor is in this?
No. Like they're driving and like hitting buttons, and it switches to like and you see a blaster go off, and the camera switches to a Power Ranger getting hit by a blaster.
Why? What?
Because Saban.
But what in the context of the movie? Why does that happen?
No, like their car gets upgraded by aliens, whatever, and they start hitting buttons that are shooting lasers, and and it flips the camera around, and one of the lasers hits a Power Ranger.
Just randomly for no reason.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah. And
does it reuse old footage or?
Yeah, it's old footage. Oh, and Barry Bostwick's in it.
Okay, who's that?
You'd recognize him if you saw him.
Okay.
Yeah, search for Barry Bostwick.
I'll look it up. That's not. I typed in baby.
The mayor from Spin City.
Okay, I don't know what Spin City is. I don't know who this guy is. What the hell is Spin City?
It was a TV show with Michael J. Fox.
Oh.
And then Charlie Sheen.
Oh, did he regenerate like the Time Lord?
No, that was when Michael J. Fox was starting to get bad.
Oh. Well, it's good that they, when the star of your show, I'm guessing he was like the main character.
Yes.
Yeah, when a star like that has to leave, usually a show is dead. So it's nice for like the people working.
Oh, it lasted decently past him, actually, as I recall.
Is it like still good?
As I recall, it was. I didn't watch it a lot, but as I remember, it was still like decent. Let's see. When did Michael J. Fox? Let's see.
So he was
okay.
there.
It lasted two. It lasted 2 seasons with Charlie Sheen.
I'm seeing Michael J. Fox was in 103 episodes. Charlie Sheen was in 45. So no, that's
no. Three of those, I believe, was Michael J. Fox coming back in guest slots.
Oh. I see.
See, you need to watch good TV like Scrubs or MASH.
I've seen Scrubs.
Then go watch MASH. It's Scrubs, basically.
Okay. What the hell is Spin City about?
Politics and running a city.
Oh.
Think of it. It's actually one of the creators of Scrubs, so it's not super different than Scrubs, like contextually.
Like Parks and Rec-y a little bit.
Not quite. Think more Scrubs if it's them wandering around a city hall rather than a hospital.
Okay. My wife would love this show, I think. Where is it streamed somewhere?
I assume so, because I think ABC must be showing Spin City somewhere. Spin City. Blah, blah, blah.
That guy. That's that guy. That guy's on it. There's no other. There's a picture. That's all I got.
Okay, here we go. Let me look. Checking a search engine here. Spin City. Wow, is it really not streaming anywhere?
It's a $10 DVD of just season 1.
I'm actually a little shocked there. That show like did very well for them for a while.
It's so weird, like in this day and age. If a show exists, it should be streaming, you know? Unless like the star and creator was like a murderer or pedophile. There's no reason for Sin City to not just like be on whatever service, you know?
Well, that's why you should buy MASH.
Okay. Where can I stream a MASH?
Let's see. It is streamable on Hulu.
Okay.
And it's purchasable on any number of digital services.
We had Hulu for a while because it came with Spotify, but then things happened.
It was on sale on iTunes a week or two ago. I remember because a friend got very excited because they missed it last time. Is it still on? No, I don't want the movie.
What's wrong with the movie?
Nothing. I just like the show better. Okay,
when we get Hulu back, which will happen soon once money starts coming in, I'm gonna finish rewatching Futurama and then I'll watch MASH.
Here we go. MASH, the complete series. How much is it right now on iTunes? If the page ever chooses to load. The page did load and then it unloaded. Okay, it is not on sale right now. Price isn't terrible, but that's not a good price because it goes on sale quite a bit.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure when I got it was like 30 or 40, and they remastered the whole show, oddly, very nicely. Don't worry, Victor, you'll be able to see all 250 plus episodes.
Oh, that's so long.
The finale is 2.5 hours.
What? How old is this show?
70s and 80s.
Okay, so back when there was like 2 channels, so that kind of makes sense.
Show almost got canceled in the first year.
Wow. What the hell happened?
Because it takes time for shows to be discovered, especially if they do weird things that aren't expected, like be very serious.
Yeah. Well, then I guess we can say that Fox or whoever would not let a show like that exist today.
No. The weird thing is it is one of the few examples of good cropping.
What?
The remaster is actually cropped. Like it was a full screen show and they cropped it to widescreen, but like they actually did like shot by shot reframing and everything.
Uh-oh.
So 99.9% of the time watching it, you would not realize they cropped it. No one's head is cut off, and so forth. And the one thing that many people are not prepared for watching it is episodes are very long compared to what you'd expect now. They are 25 minutes long, and they were back then. So they only had 5 minutes of commercials.
It sounds like that could add up after a while, and if you're binging it, that could get really annoying.
No, because it's very easy to just watch an episode or two and then walk away.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, the show lasted 11 years, I believe.
Oh.
And then after you watch MASH, you can watch Star Trek.
It's never going to happen.
I could kidnap you and tie you to a chair. But if we do that, I'd make you watch the bad Star Trek.
That's the thing. If you and I are anywhere in the same room, we're making a 90s sci-fi action show.
That doesn't apply if I've kidnapped you and I'm holding you against your will, Victor.
Oh, we'll make it work.
No,
what's the bad Star Trek?
Enterprise.
Oh. You know what? I'm gonna I've never seen Star Trek, but I understand and I could name characters and stuff. I don't know shit about Enterprise.
Let me put it this way. Most Star Trek I will, as a matter of course, will rewatch. Anytime I've attempted to rewatch Enterprise, before I'm done with the pilot film, I'm like, no, I can't watch any more of this done. Like, for something that I will rewatch endlessly. Just, nope, it just...
Scott Bakula.
It tried. I love Scott Bakula. That's what bothers me. Who doesn't like Scott Bakula?
He's perfect for Star Trek.
I know, Scott Bakula is the captain. That's exactly what I want from Star Trek until I watched it, and then Ooh.
Costumes look awful.
Huh? Well, here's the thing.
Like the suits,
Here,
they don't look Star Trek-y.
here's my. I think it did a decent job for one reason. It was a prequel, but they also refused to do stuff that did not line up. So, like, if you watch Star Trek Discovery, the uniforms don't make sense, the technology don't make sense, and their explanation is just, well, the world we live in now, we have to take that into account regardless of anything else. And so I sort of go, well, why do a prequel then? Just do a sequel and make stuff up. Enterprise, when they made it, they basically went, they have to be true to what's before. So they decided, okay, this is humanity's first step. So the outfits look more like what you'd expect from a Navy ship. So like not quite military, but like not quite as casual, not pseudo casual like later uniforms. So the idea, more akin to what you'd see in the Navy or a military.
Or Space Force.
Yeah.
With camo for some reason.
But they also go with that decision and roll with it. So like you'll see him wear like a baseball hat with, the logo and everything, like you would see military people do where like they would have a, armed forces baseball hat. You will see him do that when he's not in uniform. So they found ways to roll with it or to make technology look futuristic, even if they had to deal with the show.
So the production design and attention to detail was on point, and I'm guessing just the writing is just fucking awful.
Well, let me put it this way. At one point, one of the favorite plots of Enterprise was, well, there's two different ones. We'll start with the first. The first one is this species is met in a later episode of Star Trek, so how can we use them? We'll have them show up and people just won't remember, or we won't call them by name. So, first contact with the Ferengis was in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. People like the Ferengis, how can we use them in an episode? Everyone gets knocked out except Captain Archer, and they just never call themselves Ferengis. So they're just mysterious aliens. And in the episode of Next Generation, people had run-ins with Ferengis before, they just had never seen them. And since only Captain Archer saw them before, no one was sure what the species was. Wink, wink.
I see.
Or there's one of the Star Trek movies has the Borg go back in time. And they blow up the ship and wreckage falls on Earth. Mysterious mechanical beings have shown up in an episode of Enterprise. And they bring up, there was that weird guy who was famous who talked about mechanical beings from the future. Wink, wink. But they never call them the Borg. That was one of the favorite plots of Enterprise, was how do we get in stuff that kind of can't, but we will anyways. The other...
Why is it bad?
It's just not written well is the problem. Like, I'm just trying to think of an example that... I just didn't like it. It's just... Like, I know people who really did like it. Like, okay, the finale of Enterprise. The entire finale of Enterprise takes place in between scenes in an episode of The Next Generation.
Oh.
Like, not even an important episode, a random one.
Right.
In that episode of The Next Generation, Riker has to think about earlier years of his career because of something that happened. So he goes in the holodeck to look at a time when Captain Archer had problems. And so it's Riker in a new episode of Enterprise, and that's the series finale of Enterprise.
Okay.
It's just one of those where, like, and it took place years after the prior episode of Enterprise. They kill off a main character in it. It's just really strange and off-putting. They spend 3 episodes at one point to explain why Klingons look different in the original series and The Next Generation.
Do they? What does a Klingon look like?
Not
Klingon for what Spock was for, like...
No.
The first, 20 years of my life.
I'm going to pull up Klingon... Now, remember, the original series was reasonably low budget. They only had so much money. So more often than not, people were just, painted.
They're just people with, blue skin and, antennas on their head, and that's it.
So Oh, actually, I'm gonna find a Klingon. I'm gonna find one that we see in both shows. That way, you can see the difference.
It's the same character.
Yes, because
Okay.
okay, so here this guy's name, and I'll put it in the chat so everyone can see it. So that is Core. That's Core in the original series in the 60s.
Okay. This just looks like an Asian guy.
So here is Core in Deep Space Nine. They give him the forehead ridges. Although, to be fair,
Oh.
Core looks less different than most.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they spent 3 episodes of Enterprise to explain why Klingons have forehead ridges in the Next Generation, and they did not in the original show.
That explains. It's a lot of explaining.
And the best part is Deep Space Nine already explained it in 10 seconds.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
Is the Orwell still going?
Yeah, they're moving it to Hulu because production time just wasn't going to work for TV.
Oh.
Yeah.
Some of that and it was okay.
In fact, I'm going to link you to a transcript and tell you exactly. Let's see here. Okay, I'm linking this just to you, and I will tell you what to search for to find the line for you to read, okay? You don't have to read it out loud, of course. Search for. I will paste the line for you to search for. And you can see the entire explanation they gave in Deep Space Nine for why Klingons look so different. It's literally just like 10 lines as a joke. And everyone was perfectly happy with that explanation. They give no real explanation at all. It did not bother a single person. Enterprise spent 3 hours to try to explain it.
God, I've kept reading and I realized that the moment has passed. So yeah, it's a very quick.
Yeah, it is an offhand joke just because they in
like that whatever fan site this is on, in the middle of it, it says a line that was used eventually to create an entire episode of Enterprise.
Yes. But see the Deep Space Nine episode was an anniversary one, so they went back in time into a well-known episode of Star Trek.
Okay.
So basically, they had to explain it because they have a Klingon there, and Klingons are a big part of that episode, which is one of the most popular episodes there is. So they felt they had to explain it because he doesn't look like them. They spent like 10 seconds on a joke and then never mentioned it again on Deep Space Nine. Enterprise kept talking about it. But yeah, Enterprise was just never my thing. It just wasn't that good to me.
Yeah.
It just seems.
I remember I was watching like Best Week Forever, or whatever it was called, on VH1, and they were like, "This week was the cancellation of Star Trek Enterprise. Fans are pissed." And I was like, "Star Trek is still going? I thought it was an old thing." So
Yeah, and Enterprise was so okay. Here's how bad Enterprise was. When they started it, they're like, "We're doing a whole new thing with Star Trek, so it's not going to have Star Trek in the title because we're going to be original. It's not going to be called Star Trek."
it's just called Enterprise?
Yes, and then around season 3, they gave up on that, and it was called Star Trek Enterprise. Because it turns out when you want to make a show in a franchise, you want to let people know what it is.
Yeah. There's times where, like, I think the original the Jaden Smith Karate Kid was originally called The Kung Fu Kid because it's a kung fu movie and there's no karate in it, and they thought people would be dumb, so they changed it to The Karate Kid.
Yes.
But if that's not like a franchise, I think they could have gotten away with that.
To be fair, there had been 4 of the movies at that point.
Yeah.
And a horrible video game.
I don't think you can do that with Star Trek. You know,
Star Trek put the name in it because
And Enterprise is kind of a Star Trek-y word,
but it's also a real word boat. it exists.
Yeah, especially in an era like, the early 2000s when Star Trek wasn't really relevant. And if you said there was a show called Enterprise, I might think it was like a boring military dramedy.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I guess it was. So, yeah.
That was their way to try to make the show better around the end of season 2, was to make it more military-ish.
Yeah, that's what people want.
They added commandos, and yeah. At the beginning of season 5, they fought space Nazis. That was okay, I guess.
That's a good time.
Think we should just about call it?
Yeah, I think I'm starting to lose some steam here. This was fun. We should definitely do this again. Maybe bring Jeff next time.
I don't think Jeff wants to talk about whatever random stuff we can think of.
We should just bully him for making. We should just spout generic requests for the app at him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll love that.
Just like super ridiculous apps. Like, hey, how come I can't read Fairy Tail? I want to read Fairy Tail. Give me Fairy Tail, Jeff.
I'm pretty sure you can read Fairy Tail on the one he works on.
On Shonen Jump, it's not a Viz app. It's not a Shueisha. That's the joke.
Oh, it's Kodansha, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
okay.
the joke.
So yeah, see, it feels so Shonen Jumpy in my, because
yeah,
all I know about Fairy Tail is that isn't it kind of a One Piece knockoff?
I mean, it's a Rune Master knockoff, if anything. But yeah, it's very shonen-y, and it very much is a product of the time. And it did feel, from what I saw and what I've heard, it's very One Piece-y. And confusing it for a Shonen Jump manga is very common. So
yeah, because at first you're like, yeah, we'll bother him about why it's not on Shonen. I'm like, what do you mean? It is on Shonen Jump. Yeah.
All right, we'll bother him about something else.
Yes, and you will come back for whenever there's a Kazuna episode.
If Kazuna is available to view in the Americas at some point, I'll jump on in a heartbeat to talk about that.
We'll see. Now that we've done this, they'll release it digitally on like Friday.
I got nothing else to do on Saturday though, so I'll be here if you need me.
Whenever it's out, we'll figure it out.
All right.
Okay. Thanks everyone for showing up. Hopefully we were able to positively waste some of your time.
Hopefully you got some recommendations for stuff to view.
Ironically, I don't read Fairy Tail. I still think buying the whole thing for the $18 whatever is a good call if you have time.
Absolutely. That's a great deal.
Yeah. Because you also get Rave Master, which is... Wasn't Rave Master supposed to be a knockoff of something else also?
Probably.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of what was around at that time, but I don't know.
Let's just say it's a knockoff of Bleach.
I think it's older than Bleach, but sure, yeah.
Okay, fine. It's a knockoff of Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, that's probably closer, yeah.
Who knows? We will catch you guys later. I'm sure we'll do something like this again. Bye.
Go to my blog and buy my books. Bye.